And welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news show. In today's video, we'll be doing a little bit of a match preview to United versus Brentford at the end, talk about the team news, what Ten Hag said in his press conference and all of that. But we have got a lot of transfer news today and a few different things. Obviously, it's the Rabiot situation. We'll rant about that later. But we've actually got an update on De Jong and a positive update on De Jong. And I know you guys are probably fed up of hearing the word De Jong. I don't blame you. I will get into the De Jong news to kind of outline it. Marcel van der Kraan, a very, very reliable journalist, has sort of come out and said United are still in for De Jong. United still De Jong is the #1 priority target. United still believe they can get De Jong. And he's almost suggesting that United would probably have a secret agreement with De Jong, and that Man United have a secret agreement with De Jong's agent about De Jong wanting to come. And essentially, we've sort of secretly agreed with De Jong's agent. We have an agreement there, but obviously it's only an agreement with De Jong's agent that De Jong would be willing to come. But obviously, because De Jong's fighting for his deferred wages, fighting for the money Barcelona owe him, the agreement between United and De Jong, or the agreement between United and De Jong's agent, he said the agreements with United and De Jong's agent is sort of like a private kind of situation. So we're going to get into the reports that, Man United is still in for De Jong. De Jong's decision is going to be made in the coming days. United are going to find out reportedly in the next sort of 3 days what's going to be happening with De Jong. He's going to make his final decision. But obviously, Marcel van der Kraan sort of said that we have like a secret behind closed door verbal agreement with De Jong's agent, and that is why we're still in for him. And he said, I'll get the quotes up of what he said directly, but he was basically suggesting that the reason we're still in for De Jong, the reason we haven't pulled out, the reason we still believe we can get De Jong is because of like a kind of agreement with his agent, basically. But obviously, Barcelona cannot know that De Jong's agent has said to United he might come. So obviously it's not going to come out publicly. And the situation is, because De Jong wants his deferred wages, him and his agent could definitely have agreed something with United privately and secretly. But because De Jong wants his wages, he's fighting around with Barcelona. And look, there's still part of me that thinks he will choose Chelsea over Man United. But Chelsea haven't even got a real agreement with Barcelona yet. Chelsea had some contact with De Jong and then haven't progressed since. So maybe De Jong hasn't given many indications to Chelsea that it will come. I'm not sure. It's one of those things where I know that it will kind of play out. But I'll get the quotes up because I don't want to misquote anyone because there's a few things that's been said. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen with you guys and I'll get the direct article up so you guys can sort of see what's being read. And then we will talk about Murtough, and Rabiot's mum and that whole situation. But let me paste the tweet here. So the Marcel van der Kraan's a really, really, really good journalist. And he said Man United will make another attempt in the next 7 days to get Frankie de Jong. United would never do this if they received confirmation from Barcelona or Frankie himself that a move wouldn't be possible. So the first thing he sort of says is United is still in for de Jong. They've never received any information directly from Barcelona or de Jong that a move wasn't possible. But the main thing that he said is obviously, and he said this the other day, is Marcel van der Kraan did say, and I'll try and find the tweet here, Marcel van der Kraan did say Manchester United have agreed a deal with Frankie de Jong's agent. Now, obviously, United agreeing a deal with Frankie de Jong's agent would be something they keep secret because obviously de Jong's stance with Barcelona is he won't leave, he doesn't want to leave because he wants his wages. But there are obviously reports coming out from good journalists saying that there is an agreement with De Jong's agents, there is a verbal agreement, and there is kind of a secret agreement that De Jong would be in for United. And the journalists say they don't know this for a fact. The journalists don't know this for a fact, but the journalists are saying from what they've gathered, if De Jong had told United he didn't want to come, United would have dropped out the De Jong race. And a lot of journalists are saying around the situation of, there is maybe a secret agreement with De Jong and Ten Hag, because if De Jong didn't want to come, United would have stopped the interest. And actually, De Jong's agent has told United to stay waiting for De Jong. Now, obviously, the one big thing that has changed since United had this reported sort of agreement with De Jong's agent that De Jong would be open to joining is that Chelsea have joined the race, which puts it at a risk. I believe that United did have agreement with De Jong's agent. I believe Marcel van der Kraan is the top tier journalist that we have an agreement with De Jong's agent. And I agree that maybe Man United and De Jong secretly agreed something, but not telling Barcelona so he gets his wages. But this agreement was obviously before, Chelsea win the race. And that is my fear that, there's still possibilities that De Jong could end up at Chelsea. Guys, please do smash that like button if you haven't already. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new as well. Murtough sleeping with Rabiot's mum. I tell you what, Murtough hasn't got any transfer business done. I'm pretty sure he's just going around sleeping with people and going on holiday and having a good time. Honestly, guys, honestly, Taz, I want to get into the West Ham news. Laurie Whitwell did confirm United have made contact with West Ham as well. Daniel said he would take DEPAY at West Ham. I will say West Ham are doing some really, really good business. Oh, they're about to sign that Portuguese midfielder maybe, and they've signed Scamacca. Do you know what's embarrassing is? I think West Ham might finish above us. West Ham are a good side. They've already got a better midfield than us. They've got Declan Rice, who walks into our side. West Ham are getting Scamacca for £35 million. Man United, if they want Morata, are going to have to pay £35 million. You're telling me we're paying the same for Morata as West Ham do for Scamacca? I sit here and I think, what is going on here? I mean, it just sums up the state of this club, honestly. United need to tell De Jong to leave and join. Yeah, this is the thing that is slowing down the whole De Jong situation. Is because look, I don't blame United for not wanting to pay De Jong's deferred wages. It means that, if we pay De Jong's deferred wages, every other club in the transfer window will know they can take advantage of Man United, know we're desperate, and it's embarrassing and it signals us as weak in the transfer market. However, I think we're in a situation where this transfer window has been so bad, the state of the squad is so bad, the season has begun. If Chelsea are willing to pay De Jong's deferred wages, then we have to pay it. If Chelsea, and if it's true that the reason that Chelsea are more likely to get De Jong than Man United is because Chelsea are willing to pay De Jong's deferred wages, then United seriously, and I mean seriously, need to go pay De Jong's deferred wages. I'm at a point now where I think we should just pay De Jong's deferred wages because this has gone on for so long. This is players integral to Ten Hag's plans. He needs him now. This is a situation where it's not good. And I think United, if Chelsea is seriously willing to pay De Jong's deferred wages, and bear in mind, Chelsea are about to spend 70 million on fucking Fofana. I don't know where they're getting this money from. No, they're Chelsea, United should, because if United pay the money for De Jong's deferred wages, they get De Jong. It's not that De Jong, and it's been said by Marcel van der Kraan, a reliable journalist, it's not that De Jong doesn't want to come to United. It's De Jong wants his fucking wages. He's not a mug. If the Glazers paid up De Jong's wages, we'd have him now. I'm telling you this. Call me an idiot. Generally, I know this. If the Glazers would put in 15, 16 million more and just pay De Jong's wages, we'd have him right now. And the Glazers don't want to do that. And look, I don't blame United for not wanting to do that. But we're in a situation where this transfer window has been so bad. We are so bad that I think we're in a situation where actually that's what we need to do because it is getting toxic. Instead of going and buying Rabiot, a Rabiot that said he won't lower his wages to come to United despite being underwhelming in Serie A for multiple seasons, John Murtough is flying out to Turin to negotiate with Rabiot's mother, and we get told, there was an agreement, nothing's been done between. So Murtough's flew to Turin, and he still hasn't found an agreement to sign a player like Rabiot. Rabiot, a player that us fans don't even want, a very underwhelming player. John Murtough flies to Italy and still can't get a deal done. I'm convinced he's just gone to shag them up. Honestly, why don't the 20 million we're going to spend on Rabiot, we just go and pay De Jong's deferred wages and get the De Jong deal done? Because I generally believe that if we pay De Jong's deferred wages, that deal is done. And the price of Rabiot is more than De Jong's deferred wages. So instead of buying Rabiot and buying a midfielder that's going to cause dressing room issues, a midfielder that Juventus were trying to pay to leave and the midfielder doesn't want to come, let's just go, drop Rabiot, put that 16 million we're going to pay for Rabiot on De Jong's deferred wages. Because unless Ten Hag really wants Rabiot, and I think if Ten Hag did really want Rabiot, we'd be in for him from the start of the window. Get rid of Rabiot. You couldn't even find an agreement with him after multiple days. He was interested in Monaco. He doesn't even want to come. That's a massive red flag. Get that. Just pay De Jong's deferred wages. Get it done. That's how I feel about the situation as well. 20 days of the transfer window left, honestly, and then we'd just be waiting to January. And I generally think we'll do January business as well. Apparently, Núñez rejected West Ham. I thought that'd be a really good move for West Ham as well. But, it's embarrassing at Manchester United. I think everyone with a brain can say it's embarrassing at Manchester United as well. United have got Brentford. If we lose to Brentford, I'm worried. If we lose, because we ain't beating Liverpool. If we lose to Brentford, that's 0 points from 3 games. And you can look at it like, Arsenal got 0 points from 3 games. They had a good season. But at the end of the day, when you're playing Brighton and Brentford, you should get 6 points from Brighton and Brentford. You should. 4 at a bare minimum because of just playing with MCFRED, but 6 points. Laurie Whitwell's come out, and he's actually come out with a lot of transfer news. And we all know, you guys know Laurie Whitwell is really, really good journalist, and he's been obviously hitting out with quite a bit of transfer news at the moment. And he said that PSV want to keep Man United target GAKPO. However, they find it difficult to turn down a bid in the region of 50 million euros. So I'm going to quickly finish up on the Frankie de Jong news for you guys, because I don't want to waste this whole video talking about de Jong. But I've got news on all these players that basically Nick's listed. I've got news on as well, pretty much. And as David Lee says, guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all of that as well. But look, loads and loads to get into. I'm a little bit behind on the live chat, so do get in as well. Sorry, I actually think De Jong and his agents representatives are playing us off against Chelsea. Who knows? But regarding De Jong, so obviously United are going to make another attempt to sign De Jong in the next 7 days. Obviously, Marcel van der Kraan did say that United have an agreement with De Jong's agent and that Manchester United still believe they can get De Jong, blah, 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 blah. It was also said about De Jong that Manchester United do remain in the hunt for De Jong, but they are worried about losing him to Chelsea. Sammy Mockbell said if United cannot complete the 72 million deal for De Jong, it would free up additional funds to buy a forward. We should be buying De Jong and a forward, not a forward if we don't get De Jong. But it was said by the Barca Times today that Frankie De Jong's agents left without meeting Barcelona as they were angry, hence why they declined to meet. Barca's upset. Frankie De Jong's refusing to have meetings with Barcelona now. He's fed up with them. There's no way Frankie De Jong is staying at Barcelona. He's literally refusing to have meetings with them. He is pissed off. And Xavi himself came out and said, Frankie De Jong is important for me, but I don't know what's going to happen with him. We'll see August 31st. Xavi is basically saying De Jong is going. De Jong's refusing to have meetings with Barcelona. De Jong's agents are refusing to have meetings with Barcelona. De Jong is not staying at Barcelona, but De Jong hasn't given Chelsea any indication that he wants to join. And you can also say De Jong hasn't given Man United any indication he wants to join, but we know from Marcel van der Kraan that United have some kind of agreement with De Jong's agent that De Jong will be willing to go to United. So there's a situation where I think in the next few days, the De Jong saga will come to an end. It's either going to be heartbreak or, oh my God, finally it's over. We can celebrate. We've got De Jong. Or, if he just goes and bankrupts Barcelona, which I think I would celebrate. I'm at the point where I'm so bitter with Barcelona that I think if De Jong stayed at Barcelona, it meant that they couldn't register Koundé or Lewandowski or any of the new signings. I'd fucking love it. Worst case scenario is De Jong goes to Chelsea because I just think that is way more embarrassing for us. But obviously, De Jong and his agent do have some kind of agreement with Manchester United. However, the agreement De Jong and his agent have with Manchester United secretly was apparently done before Chelsea were in the race. So the situation is, De Jong's agent had indicated to United secretly De Jong would be open to joining, but it's going to be a long situation because he wants his wages. But that was obviously done before Chelsea entered the race, and United are worried that now Chelsea in the race for De Jong, their sort of agreement behind closed doors with De Jong, like behind the scenes, sort of verbal agreement, could be ripped apart because obviously Chelsea are in for De Jong. Kind of like with Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber had a verbal agreement that he'd join United. He spoke to Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal said, no, don't go to United, he won't be the Dutch one. And then Jurrien Timber got scared. And then obviously we ran him for Lisandro Martinez. Situation with De Jong is there's some kind of verbal agreement with the agent there. But obviously with Chelsea in, could this threaten the whole situation, if that makes sense, with De Jong? But obviously we've been linked to a lot of players, as Nick put out earlier in the video. We've been linked to Sasa, Kalajdzic, Memphis Depay. Laurie Whitwell has confirmed that United have been in contact with Memphis Depay, and Laurie Whitwell is a tier 1 journalist, works for The Athletic. He's obviously confirmed Depay contact. Laurie Whitwell also spoke about Cody Gakpo to Manchester United, and obviously Alvaro Morata, who apparently cost us £35 million. Now, I want to talk about Cody Gakpo first because he's a player that I'd like to see at Manchester United. And Laurie Whitwell, top tier journalist, has said that PSV would like to keep him. However, they find it difficult to turn down a bid in the region of 50 million euros. Basically, PSV want to keep this player, but if United want him, they've got to overpay. Now, I think Cody Gakpo is the type of signing we will make if we don't get De Jong. Ten Hag wants an attacker. Ten Hag would like him, but reportedly we can't afford him if we buy a midfielder because apparently we're broke. No, the Glazers are awful. They don't want to spend money. This is a signing I see Man United doing if they fuck up De Jong. I see us getting Rabiot, another midfielder, and this player if we fuck up De Jong. I could potentially see us getting Rabiot, De Jong, and another attacker. Despite Rabiot making it awkward, the fact that John Murtough's flown to Turin, I think we're going to get Rabiot. I don't think he's going to give up on that. I think it's embarrassing that he's flown to Turin to negotiate with fucking Rabiot's mum, of all people, and the fact that he couldn't even find an agreement because Rabiot won't take a wage cut to come to United says it all. It's absolutely embarrassing. But I think with Cody Gakpo, he's a player I'd like. He's a really good player, better stats than Anthony. As a forward, definitely a player we need. I just think, if United get De Jong, they'll think they've done enough. I generally am at the point where I think if United get De Jong, they'll think they've done enough this window. Because we'll be so relieved that United have got De Jong that United will probably get De Jong and call it quits this window. If we don't get De Jong, I think this is a player that we can likely sign as well. Congratulations on Ronaldo for getting nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Big up Ronaldo getting nominated for the Ballon d'Or. The Messi fans are crying. How can Ronaldo get nominated for the Ballon d'Or and not Messi? Because Messi, man, is playing for the best team in the Farmers League and got 3 goals. If you play for PSG, you have a fucking easy life as a Farmers League. Ronaldo had to play with an absolute dog shite team and got 18 goals in the Premier League. Ronaldo's 37 years of age, in the shittest United side with no service, with McFred in the field, in an absolutely awful side, gets 18 goals. Now remember, if Ronaldo took the penalties that Bruno missed this season, Ronaldo would have got 20 goals for this United side. Absolutely. Fabrizio Romano's come out and said that Manchester United are waiting to understand how much Cody Gakpo's final price tag will be once PSV decide what they will do with him. There has been contact in relation to the player. So Fabrizio Romano's come out himself and said and confirmed that United have made contact with Cody Gakpo as well. And Laurie Whitwell did say a significant recruitment meeting was held at Carrington this week to work through final transfer options. So I think the fact that we've made contact with DEPAY, Cody Gakpo, Morata, Sasa, Kalajdzic, and Frankie de Jong within the last 2 days is to do with what Laurie Whitwell said, that we have had a meeting about recruitment at Carrington, because we're probably all panicking as well. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe down below if you're new as well. I've got loads and loads to talk about. Morata, DEPAY, Kalajdzic, Cody Gakpo, De Jong, but also I want to get into a match preview for United versus Brentford. There's basically I've been sent a lineup that we might be playing versus Brentford. You know, reported lineup, who's out, who's in. So do make sure you smash that like button. You stay tuned in this live. I do want to cover what Laurie Whitwell has had to say on all the transfer news, because he's such a reliable journalist, before I get into the other news. I do want to quickly get into what Laurie Whitwell had to say about the likes of Cody Gakpo, and all of that. But basically, Laurie Whitwell said that Memphis Depay's agents have made contact with Manchester United. However, he's expected to join Juventus. So Laurie Whitwell, Tier 1 journalist, has confirmed we have made contact with DEPAY, but he's more likely to go to Juventus. And Alvaro Morata, and this has come from Laurie Whitwell, is a genuine possibility. And sources say Manchester United have held talks with Morata, who's thought to be available for 35 million euros. But Atletico Madrid may accept a loan, but he would command significant wages. So United reportedly in for Alvaro Morata. Laurie Whitwell said that this is obviously a player that this is a move that could happen. United have held talks with Morata, but he would be 35 million euros. And to put that into sense, man, Alvaro Morata is going to cost us the same amount as West Ham got Scamacca for, which I think is absolutely embarrassing. But, you know, that is Manchester United for you. What can I say? What can I say? Even Sir Alex Furt thinks it's a good idea for Ronaldo to leave. Well, actually, it's come out today that Ronaldo is set to stay at Manchester United. I can't remember who reported it, but quite a good journalist came out today and said that Ronaldo is set to stay at Manchester United unless something drastic happens. And it's believed that Ronaldo will stay at Manchester United. And that was a report that's come out today. So it has actually come out today that Ronaldo will stay at Manchester United. It's come out today that De Jong's obviously got some secret agreement with Manchester United. It's also come out today that we've had contacts with DEPAY. Morata could turn up at United. And, you know, Cody Gakpo is a player that United want. But a big part of Cody Gakpo to United, Gakpo, sorry, depends on the De Jong situation. Alice, will Ten Hag drop MCFRED? This is something I do want to get into in just a second. There's reports that one of them will be dropped, but not both. And CJ Ward says, hi, found your channel a few days ago, and I love how you analyse Man United. I'm not even a Man United fan, but my best mate Robbie is. Could you give him a shout? Shout out to Robbie. Thank you very much for the chat in there as well. And Alice, did you do some content for Project Football? I did, actually. I'm going to release some content from that day soon over on my TikTok. So do make sure you follow me on TikTok. I much prefer DEPAY to the Stuttgart 9 or Morata. The thing is with DEPAY, I think he will likely end up at Juventus. But as Laurie Whitwell said, United have been in contact with DEPAY. I think us getting DEPAY, I do like DEPAY. And my heart wants me to get DEPAY. Like, my heart is saying United should get DEPAY, but my head is saying we shouldn't get DEPAY. He wasn't good enough first time. Well, Morata will do really well. I don't mind getting him. It's World Cup year and he wants to start for Spain. I'm not against Morata. I would prefer Morata on loan personally myself. I'm not a big fan of spending 35 million euros on Morata. I think we're massively overpaying. But he did get 20 goals, not this season, but last season for Juventus. He's not a god-awful player. So, again, I do agree that I think Morata as a backup striker, I'm not totally against that. Look, we've not got an Anthony, but there's not. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. We're in a dire situation. And, you know, at the start of the window, if we're getting linked to Morata, I'm thinking, fuck off. I'm thinking absolutely F off at the start of the window if we're getting linked to Morata. But we're in a bit of a dire situation where Sesko rejected us. Samuel Lutka said that United tried to get Timo Werner last minute. He rejected us. And then Scamacca we didn't even look at because we've got to use the scouting department. But all the other strikers like Osimhen, 100 million, Ivan Toney, even 60 million, Brentford have stuck on him. You know, we're in a situation where there's not many strikers in the market. Nunes is gone, Haaland's gone, all the good strikers are gone. All you've got to pay 100+ million to get a good striker in. And, you know, at the end of the day, whatever striker we sign is going to be a backup striker. So at the start of the window, if we're linked to Morata, I'm thinking F off. No way are we getting Morata, useless club. But I think we're in a situation now with Man United being linked to Morata now, I'm thinking I don't want to pay 35 million euros for him, but Morata on loan as a backup for Martial and Ronaldo, that's not bad. It's not a bad situation. I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not totally against it, but again, you know, it's because of the situation we're in that I'm taking Morata. He's not god awful. He's not like he was at Chelsea. He's been quite good at Juventus, and I think that, you know, his physical presence would do well under Ten Hag. I mean, look what we saw Sebastian Haller in the Premier League, and then we saw Sebastian Haller at Ajax. Ten Hag can do good with strikers. We know that his system would give strikers service, although I don't know with McFred in midfield. It's not a bad signing. Morata, I actually think it does make more sense than DEPAY because of Ten Hag's system, the way he plays. However, I think with DEPAY, you've got a versatile forward that can play across the front three. With Morata, you don't have that. It's one of them where start of the season, I'm thinking, fuck off. You know, Morata, you must be joking. Right now, because of the situation we're in, I would be taking Morata, which, look, it is embarrassing to stay, but yeah. But guys, Ronaldo is set to stay at Manchester United as well, which is massive news. And you know, a lot of people don't want Ronaldo to stay, but I mean, look, guys, whether you feel that Ronaldo was embarrassing about wanting to leave, that's fine. I don't agree with how Ronaldo went about wanting to leave Man United. I don't agree with Ronaldo's antics, but I don't blame Ronaldo for wanting to leave Manchester United. But I fucking hope we keep Ronaldo because we need him. Look at the state of our squad. We will talk about the MCFRED situation with them reported to be dropped, but I'm going to find the Ronaldo news for you guys because reportedly, Ronaldo is staying at Manchester United. Yeah, and this is the guy that obviously reported. This is Manu Sayens, who's done quite a lot of reports on Ronaldo and been fairly accurate. And I think Ronaldo's probably staying because he's been forced to stay. But Cristiano Ronaldo will stay, and he says will stay at Manchester United this season unless there's a last-minute surprise. And this guy's been pretty genuine when it comes to Ronaldo news as well. So it's pretty mad. And Ten Hag sort of suggesting that Ronaldo will stay and all that. I do want to get into the news about Marcus Rashford leaving and my thoughts on Marcus Rashford leaving, so do stay tuned for that. I do want to quickly talk about the whole right-back situation. Jonathan Schrager's done a good report on what right-backs will be going for, and I do want to get a bit more De Jong information just come out, and I do want to get into the Sasa Kalajdzic news. But before I even discuss that, guys, please do smash that like button, and of course, do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. I go live every single evening on the Alice Talks Football YouTube channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. 2.5 weeks till the transfer window ends, and Man United are set to sign 3 more players in the next 2.5 weeks. A backup goalie, an attacker, and a midfielder. I do believe we're going to sign 3 more players in the next 2.5 weeks. I do believe 3 more players will leave. I do believe the next 2.5 weeks is going to be news crazy, hectic crazy. So do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any news updates. The minute we sign someone, the minute we sell someone, the minute there's a big breakthrough like on a deal for De Jong, I will keep you guys updated. So do make sure you subscribe. And of course, I will be live tomorrow for Manchester United versus Brentford watch along, followed by match reaction. I am going to get into my Brentford preview, the starting lineup, and all of that in a sec. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe as well. But Jonathan Schrager has said that Josip Junovic, Max Aarons, and Carl Walker-Peters are on a shortlist of United potential right-backs in case Wan-Bissaka leaves. I was quite surprised to see Denzel Dumfries not on the list, knowing that Ten Hag wants Denzel Dumfries, but then I remembered that the Glazers don't want to spend much money, and Denzel Dumfries would be £30 million. It also come out from lots of other journalists about Marcus Rashford to PSG. And PSG are willing to pay 60 million for Marcus Rashford. And I tell you what, I'd sell Marcus Rashford for 60 million pounds. I like Marcus Rashford. I actually think people think he's a lot worse than he is. Marcus Rashford was god awful last season, but he scored 20+ goals for two seasons in a row for Man United. People do forget that. It's god awful as Marcus Rashford was last season. I don't think he's a bad player. I think people think he's worse than he is. But if we can get 60 million for Rashford, I'm all for it. The problem is, you know, if we had other wingers and we were offered 60 million for Rashford, brilliant. But we don't have many other wingers. We couldn't get Anthony in. You know, if we sell Rashford, we've got to bring in 2 wingers, and we're struggling to bring in 1. We don't actually have the squad to sell Rashford. So as much as I think 60 million Rashford PSG would be a good deal for Rashford, because I think he needs a break from United, but United to get 60 million for Rashford, I think it would be a great deal. I just think it's, you know, we can't do it because our board is not able enough to get a Rashford replacement, because we need a winger with Rashford here and we need a Rashford replacement as well. The only reason Ronaldo's staying is because nobody else wants him. Probably partly true, but I think he's being forced to stay as well. And with Ronaldo in the squad, we will stand more of a chance of making a captain. I think Maguire's going to stay as captain. Unless Maguire is really, really poor and gets dropped, I think he will stay as captain. Maguire under Ten Hag so far in pre-season and first game of the season wasn't particularly bad. If you actually analyse the Brighton game, it was MCFRED that was awful. Maguire wasn't one. You know, I could name 5 players worse than Maguire against Brighton. As well, the lighter says he really wants Cody Gakpo. I agree. And I said a few weeks ago, Man United will sign Zlatan on final day. The guy is injured, but I wouldn't put past United. What's your opinion on Mitrovic? He is the R9 of the Championship. Personally, myself wouldn't go for him. We will do score predictions for the game tomorrow. How confident are you guys that we're going to win? You know what? You guys love a poll. Let's do a poll. I'm going to just stay tuned for a sec. I'm going to go and put a poll up on this live stream. Let me. What have I done? Oh, mute. I've accidentally clicked on. Oh, for frick's sake! I've clicked on the wrong video. I'm trying. It won't let me click on my own video. I'm trying to click on my live stream so I can do a bloody poll, and it's like, no, don't click on live stream. But I want your thoughts, score predictions. But I'm going to do a poll, so I just want you. I spelt predictions wrong. I promise you, I'm not stupid. Win, loss, or draw. I made a poll for you. Do you think we're going to win, lose, or draw against Brentford? So go vote in the poll. It's up now. Because I tell you what, I am not that confident. I'm not that confident of a win. I'm not that confident at all. I actually see us dropping points and losing, because Brentford are a good side that play good football. However, in that last sort of 2 months under Rangnick, when we were god shit shite, awful, no one running, god shit shite in the last 2 months of the season under Rangnick, we did have a good game against Brentford. But Matic was playing and Matic controlled the midfield. We don't have a Matic. Even though Matic needed to leave United, he was past it. If you played Matic once a week for 60 minutes, he could control that midfield. It doesn't matter if you gave McTominay and Fred steroids. They are not controlling that midfield. So we're in a situation where, you know, I think Man United are in a situation with, if the defence and the attack produce miracles, we win games. Because we've got no midfield, it's literally like if the defence can do their job and defend all right, which I think they will do, and if the attack can come up with a moment of magic out of nothing, we'll win games. Because we can't control the midfield, so we're not going to win games with the midfield. It's very much like if Ronaldo can score that moment of magic, we'll win the game, you know, because the midfield's going to be invisible. And that's how I feel with Brentford. I'm not confident. 45% of you guys did say win. A lot of people are saying 46% for win, 31% for loss, and 23% for draw. Like, just like me, you guys just are not confident. And I hate that I've got this little confidence going into Manchester United again, because I love United and I want us to win. And I think, you know, new manager bounce, ERIK ten Hag, brilliant manager, surely we'll beat Brentford. But I hate saying this, but I'm not the slightest bit confident that we're going to beat Brentford. I'm really not. I don't have any trust in this side, because the squad's not good enough. It's nothing to do with Ten Hag. It's purely to do with the fact that the United squad, I don't think it's good enough. Morata was bang average in the Premier League. Memphis has done well abroad. Yeah. I mean, all the options we're being linked to aren't brilliant either as well. I'm surprised we have a team left. I mean, honestly, we've lost, I think, 8 players and brought in 3. We're very thin on positions. Belotti, 3 no-brainer. I think if Ten Hag wanted him, we would have got him. People with the score predictions in the chat as well. I mean, do let me know your score predictions. Varane ex-buy would be nice to see, but we're never going to see it under Ten Hag. Buy is set to leave. And I think West Ham, Roma, and I think Sevilla even are all interested in ERIK Bailly, who is set to leave Manchester United as well. Brentford won't make it easy, but I think Ronaldo will score. Yeah, I agree. Garnacho was involved tomorrow, guys, actually. I have been told that Garnacho will be involved tomorrow's match. Garnacho was not picked for the under-21s match, either was Sedan Iqbal. and I believe they will be on the bench. Ten Hag did come out in his press conference and say he wants Rashford to stay. He sees Rashford as an important member of the squad, so I don't think Rashford will be dropped for Garnacho. I believe that Garnacho will be on the bench for Manchester United guys tomorrow as well. Bruno needs to be dropped. Donny at 10. I'll show you. I'm going to get a lineup up in a second, but I'd quite like to see a midfield three of Garner, Donny and Eriksen at this rate. I am fed up with MCFRED and Bruno. I want to see Garner, Donny, Eriksen. But on a serious note, I think Fred, Donny, Eriksen could work. I'd like to see Garner thrown in there. I don't think he could be any worse than Scott and Fred versus Brighton. I know Garner lacks the physicality. Brentford don't have the most physical midfield. I think Garner. The problem is, McTominay, I guess, is our only physical midfielder, I think, as well. Which I think you just got to throw Garner in there at this point as well. But we need loan players as we can't sign anyone. ERIK is better than Maguire. It's a mistake to sell him. Sell Maguire, McTominay, and Fred and Shaw. But we have no players left in those positions if we do. Morata's bang average, baffling. So many clubs have given him a try. Look, he is bang average, but beggars can't be choosers, and I feel like we're beggars right now. That's how I feel about Morata as well. People saying buy an Archie Williams. At least we know we won't get injured if you buy an Archie Williams as well. Again, but the striker market is so expensive. There's just so many strikers out there, but they're so overpriced. And when I say there's so many strikers out there, there's not many good strikers out there. Like, the striker market at the moment is you've got to pay a shit ton of money to get a striker. I mean, United have tried to get Sesko. He rejected us. According to Samuel Luckers, we made an 11th hour attempt to sign Timo Werner before he rejoined RB Leipzig. I think Timo Werner for 25 million wasn't a bad deal. Ten Hag obviously spoke about transfers, and it did come out from Rob Dawson saying, despite praise of Scott McTominay and Fred ahead of the opening week, Erik ten Hag was already well aware that Manchester United would struggle without midfield reinforcements. Now, this report from Rob Dawson is absolutely true, because Laurie Whitwell came out with a report in May. And I did a whole video on this Laurie Whitwell report out in May. And Laurie Whitwell, we all know, is a top journalist. And in Laurie Whitwell's report back in May, 3 months ago, I'm not even lying, Laurie Whitwell said that Erik ten Hag views midfield as a number one priority for Manchester United, and he'd like to bring in 2 midfielders as he's not confident about McFred. Didn't say he wasn't confident about McFred, but he said he thought the midfield was vulnerable. Laurie Whitwell said that Ten Hag ideally wants to bring in 2 midfielders, one being De Jong and the second being a more defensively minded midfielder, because he thought the midfield at United was vulnerable and that the midfield, So Laurie Whitwell back in May made it very clear Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders, very clear that Ten Hag wasn't confident in the Man United midfield. And, it's been confirmed again by Rob Dawson of ESPN that Ten Hag believes that United will struggle with McFred. So for all the people, and this is why I think the title says McFred dropped, for all the people that are worried about McFred being the new thing under Ten Hag, McFred will play a couple of games under Ten Hag. McFred played the opening game because that's all Man United know. But McFred is not going to last under Ten Hag. Ten Hag, back in May, said he didn't want to start the season with McFred. Laurie Whitwell made that clear. Ten Hag wanted 2 midfielders. Ten Hag watched McFred. He ain't going to continue them. I will be really shocked if we see McFred play versus Brentford. I just think Ten Hag has seen enough of McFred, and he's like, no, they're not good enough. Ten Hag wants a midfielder desperately. The fact that we went all in for Rabiot after the McFred disaster class says it all, that McFred is not the future of Manchester United. And Ten Hag never rated him in May. Ten Hag watched them play, gave them a chance, probably doesn't rate them now in the slightest. McFred aren't going to last under Ten Hag. But Ten Hag wants that midfielder in it, and that's been made very, very clear as well. We're getting rejected by so many clubs because we are the biggest joke in European football. We should have gotten 2 midfielders in June. What the hell were United doing? Man United just thought we'll put all our eggs in the Frankie Jong basket. What I think is really embarrassing is John Murtough has been spotted in Spain and Turin, and he didn't get those deals done. John Murtough went to Spain, never got Frankie de Jong. It's been a month since he went to Spain, didn't get Frankie de Jong. John Murtough goes to Turin, still can't find an agreement with Rabiot's mum. John Murtough's just had a holiday to Spain and a holiday to Turin, because he's gone to 2 places on holiday, been pictured, no agreement. How embarrassing is that? That if we don't get Rabiot, which I still think we will get, and because no one else fucking wants him, and Juventus don't want him, so we can't have slumbered with him. But if we don't get Rabiot and De Jong, everyone's just going to show those pictures of Murtough in Turin and Barcelona online, and Murtough can't defend that. Arnold was even spotted in Barcelona. Man United have Mug FC written on their forehead. Mugta. I call him John Mugta because he's a mug. John Mugta, why can't you do Zoom calls? Because you've been spotted in Turin, and now you've been spotted in Barcelona. If you don't get De Jong, and especially if you don't get Rabiot, because no one wants him, you just make yourself look like an idiot. You know, Woodward was crap, but you'd be on Woodward, you'd be below Woodward level. You might as well write mug on his forehead. He's been spotted in Barcelona, 14 weeks on De Jong. If we don't get De Jong, he is John Mugter. Because if we don't get De Jong, he should be sacked, because that is a sackable offence. We missed out on Anthony because we wanted to get De Jong first, because we didn't know how much money we'd have. And reportedly, and this was reported, I think, by Jason Burt, very good journalist yesterday. Jason Burt said that if Manchester United get Frankie de Jong, they'll be unable to afford an attacker. I generally believe, and listen to this, guys, because I think I'm making a really good point here. I believe Man United's intention was never to get De Jong and Antony. I think Ten Hag wanted De Jong and Antony. I think United lied and said they'd get De Jong and Antony. But I think Man United's intention was always to be that attacker short and just get De Jong. Because the fact that we could have got Antony for 40 million and we knew Ten Hag wanted Antony in May and we just didn't, and then we only went in for Antony when we knew that he would be too expensive to get, says to me, and with the report coming out by Jason Burt yesterday that Manchester United would own, if they got De Jong, GAKPO would be unlikely and attacker would be unlikely because they didn't have the funds. That says to me that I think United's intention was to get De Jong, but actually just say they don't have the funds for Antony and find a cheaper alternative. And I think that was our intention from day one. And I think the reason we left Antony so long is because our intention was to never sign him, because we thought we were going to get De Jong. We thought we'd have had De Jong by now, and we knew De Jong would have cost us 72 million, and we didn't want to spend any more money. So I generally believe United's intention was to never get Antony. And I think they lied to Ten Hag, because we could have got Antony in May for £40 million. And apparently, if we get De Jong, we can't afford to spend £40 million on Cody Gakpo. So you're telling me we'd have spent £40 million on Antony in May and then got De Jong? But now, if we do get De Jong, we don't have the money for Cody Gakpo. That's a joke. I think that United generally probably were like, okay, we know his targets. We'll get everyone but Antony on his target list. I think United generally planned it. I think the board and the owners did it on purpose so they could spend less money and not get Antony in time. I do. I actually do. Because people will say that's crazy. They wouldn't do that. It's the Glazers. The Glazers that took 11 million out in dividends, and the Glazers that are refusing to pay De Jong's deferred wages to get the deal done. The Glazers that are saying we can't spend more than £100 million this summer. The Glazers. The Glazers. Never underestimate the Glazers, because whenever I think the Glazers are ratty little bitches, which they are, they just become even more ratty little bitches, because they get worse and worse and worse. Look at our stadium. It's falling apart. Look at our facilities compared to everyone else's, falling apart. Look at our training ground compared to everyone else's, falling apart. Look at our squad. Look at our transfer strategy. Look who makes transfers in this club. We don't have smart people making transfers in this club. We don't have proper scouts. We don't have a proper scouting department. We don't have footballing people making decisions. We've got bankers making decisions. Look at every single aspect of this club, and we are behind in every way. We are behind every single Premier League top 6 sides in facilities, training grounds, coaches, staff, and on the pitch. And when you're behind in every aspect off the pitch, no wonder we're behind in every aspect on the pitch. And that's for the Glazers neglecting United. We're the only team in the Premier League without a board in the stadium, without a screen in the stadium. Only team in the Premier League. And, you know, if you're a Bournemouth, fair enough, you'd have the funds. But this is Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, that are taking money out in dividends every year. But we have the shittest facilities, the shittest stadium, the only team without a screen. And when we're the biggest team in the world, that's not acceptable. And the reason that it's like that is because the owners don't care. They take an 11 million out in dividends, don't care if we get De Jong or not, don't even know what the offside rule is. They're leaving us to rot. And the only reason, I say this now, the only reason Sir Alex Ferguson won trophies under the Glazers and under Glazer ownership is because 90% of the players that were integral to Sir Alex Ferguson winning all those trophies were brought before the Glazers took over in 2008. The players that Fergie got when the Glazers took over were awful, but Fergie worked miracles. We had very few good signings in the Fergie era under the Glazers. All Fergie's best signings and most important players came before the Glazer era as well. And we were lucky to get 5 years left of Fergie under the Glazer era, and Fergie to get every last inch out of that squad. Because I tell you this now, Fergie want to leave with Cleverley and Anderson, because Sir Alex Ferguson is a miracle worker. And the Glazers probably think, well, if you can win the league with if Sir Alex Ferguson can win the league with Cleverley and Anderson, surely we can win the league with McFred, and maybe we don't have to buy a midfielder. No, because Sir Alex Ferguson is a literal miracle worker. And when I really think about it, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson just did a miracle, because the Glazers were still shit under Sir Alex. Even though we're winning, they were still shit. And they still didn't put a penny in. And they still didn't back him or invest him. And the Glazers loved it under Sir Alex because he would win and win and win. But then once the Sir Alex Ferguson squad and all the players we brought before the Glazers retired, got old, every player, you know, the Glazers have to build a new squad. The Glazers had to employ people to build a new squad at Manchester United. They had to employ people to, you know, rebuild United. And, you know, pretty much 90% of the players we've brought under the Glazers' ownerships have not done the job. Whereas before it, Sir Alex Ferguson made everyone a legend. GAKPO, Tony, Rabiot and Savage, says Scott Berg. Very unlikely to happen. He's only getting his air miles up, Alice, regarding John Murtough. Guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. McTominay isn't physical. Casado from around. He's just 6'4" and the biggest. I mean, when I say physical, I don't mean actually physical. Richard Woodward, LMAO, honestly, I mean, that should be his new name. Guys, we want 258 likes. Can we see if we can hit 300 likes by the end of the video? I'd really appreciate it, because I am going to get into the Brentford preview, a little bit of a lineup and all of that. And I also do want to say that we are 20 subscribers away from 44.1k. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe down below. Would be really, really appreciated as well. 20 subscribers to go. But let's get into some more news, because we've got quite a bit to cover actually still. And I've just gone on a bit of a rant and all of that. And honestly, I would like us to sign Mbappe. Garner and Donny must start against Brentford. They're 100 times better than McFred. Honestly, GAKPO, DEPAY, Belotti free transfer would be 6.5 out of 10 winner. What I do is pay De Jong's deferred wage to get the De Jong deal done. Because the only reason Chelsea are beating us to De Jong is because they're willing to pay the deferred wages. Punch the Glazers in the face and tell them to basically pay De Jong's deferred wages. I get De Jong, bish, bash, bosh over the line. I get Cody GAKPO, bish, bash, bosh over the line. And I go in for fucking Lema. And that's what I'd do. And I'd keep Ronaldo. And that would be my transfer window. I'd even like a right back and a striker, but I think that'd be pushing it under the Glazer ownership as well. But I do think it's embarrassing that he's flown out to Turin and still can't get a deal for Rabiot. I'll tell you what's happening with Rabiot. Listen to this. Veronica Rabiot does not want Adrian Rabiot to earn less than 7 million a year that he has earned at Juventus. 7 million a year for a player that's shit. Manchester United have started negotiations at a lower base of a couple million, but negotiations are non-stop. Basically, Rabiot don't want to lower his wage to come to United, basically. It is also said that Manchester United are still hopeful of signing Rabiot despite concerns that there are odds with the player's agent over his salary, which is his mother. And Juventus have received a lot of contact with United for Rabiot, and United and Juventus do have an agreement for Rabiot. Juventus want to sell him, but John Murtough and DiMarzio said this. John Murtough visited the player's mother and agent today to try and file the distance between parties, but it was not decisive. So DiMarzio said John Murtough's flown to Italy to chat to them, but he still hasn't got an agreement done. It was not decisive. Like, it's just absolutely embarrassing. Honestly, Rabiot's mum still packed his lunch, says Gaz as well. Honestly, it's embarrassing. Like, why are we twerking for Rabiot? You know, this is what you do for Mbappe. Why are we flying out and begging Rabiot to join us? Adrian Rabiot. Juventus tried to pay Rabiot to leave in January, but United are going to fly out and beg the Adrian Rabiot that Juventus were begging to leave in January to come to this club. And, you know, cool, fly out to try and sort of deal with Mbappe, fly out to try and sort of deal with De Jong, but flying out to sort of deal with Rabiot, it's just embarrassing, honestly. Honestly, it's absolutely embarrassing. Honestly. We will talk about some more news because I will go on and on and on and on and on. I will go on and on and on and on. If you just joined, Laurie Whitwell said that United had contact with Morata, but it would cost us 35 million euros. United obviously want Cody GAKPO as well, but obviously the situation with Cody GAKPO is PSV don't want to sell him, so United will have to overpay for him. Garnacho and Iqbal will be involved tomorrow. Oh, this is the funny thing. This is what I want to get into, and then I'm going to get into the lineup for Brentford. This, guys, read this. This is why I can't take this club seriously, because we all know that Rob Dawson is briefed by United. And here it was said, there is a feeling inside United that Ralph Rangnick's public comments about the squad affected the players, and Ten Hag has been quick to distance himself from much of this assessment, including that United need open heart surgery. People inside United, the PR inside United, have told Rob Dawson that Rangnick's comments affected the players. So Rangnick calling the players shit because they refuse to listen to his instructions and run and do the basics of a footballer. You know, these players that are getting paid £200,000 a week and they wouldn't even play, they wouldn't even run, they wouldn't even try for Man United, and Rangnick called them out. But the board are going and telling the media that this is why the players are so bad, because Rangnick treated them like this. Honestly, how this club treated Rangnick was a disgrace. Rangnick just exposed this club, said, cool, they've got a new manager in, but they've got to change everything. Rangnick said everything we need to do to be a big club. And the board hated him. They sacked Rangnick for it. Rangnick said we needed 10 out of 10, and he wasn't wrong. The board sacked him for it. If Rangnick was here, and if they listened to Rangnick, we'd have Julian Alvarez in, we probably would have had Lema in, we probably would have had Jong done by now. I think we probably would have gotten Cuckoo if Rangnick was here. But the board got rid of Rangnick, and now Rangnick, who's left 3 months ago, they're coming out and saying that, oh, Ralph Rangnick's public comments affected the players, and that's probably a reason why they haven't been so good. And that's, you know, it's probably going to be harder for Ten Hag because of Rangnick's public comments. Like, this club is seriously a joke. They are seriously, like, the blame shifters, the PR. It drives me crazy. Honestly, that's a good way of putting it. These fuckers. That is how I feel as well. Crap players are crap players, even if you call them world class. Honestly. Exactly. If you call them players world class, they still be crap as well. Wow, these players are untouchable. They are, and that's why there's attitude problems as well. United to get beaten Saturday, I am scared as well. You can't offer Champions League, so no top player wants to join Europa League. Wake the fuck up. We're Man United. We've signed Pogba and Zlatan and good players in Europa League. We just got shit negotiators and a board that don't want to go beyond the wage budget. It's harder, but it's possible as well. But United is such a mess that it's harder and harder. Every year that goes by that we don't win a trophy, it's harder and harder to grab those top players as well. But let's get into the match preview to the Manchester United versus Brentford game. So chosen11.com. We're going to get into the lineup. We're going to get into my lineup, then the sort of predicted elite lineups going about as well. So look, we all know David De Gea is going to play in goal. We all know Delo's going to play at right back. And a lot of people want Varane to play, but it is Martinez and Maguire. Unless there's an injury, it will be Martinez and Maguire. That is the partnership he's trying to build. Like it or not, Maguire is playing. Now, Ronaldo will, if Ronaldo doesn't start up front, I'll be shocked. We were so much better in the second half when Ronaldo come on. Anyone with a brain knows Sancho's playing on the right. And a lot of people want Garnacho to play, but Rashford will play on the left. So these players are guaranteed to start as the Manchester United. These players on your screen here will 100% start for United. Now, I think Tyrone Malacia should come on ahead of Luke Shaw. I don't think that Luke Shaw was good enough. And I think that, maybe save Luke Shaw for a game like Liverpool where we need to be more defensive. I think Tyrone, this is not what I think Luke Shaw will play, but I would play Tyrone Malacia. I love Bruno. And I think he's a great player, but I think his play style is frustrating. However, I'm at the point where I wouldn't mind seeing this. And I don't really 100% think this works and think it provides much balance, but what can we do? I'm at the point where this is the squad I'd like to see. In fact, I'd almost quite like to see this. If I'm being honest with. I will get into the lineup that I've been sent as well. So that I think this could I'm all for this. And in fact, this won't happen. This is not going to happen tomorrow, guys. But honestly, this is the lineup I want to see tomorrow. Honestly, I mean, put Varane in for Maguire, but I mean, this is what I want to see. That midfield is what I want to see, because McFred and Bruno, I've had enough of them. But that's not going to happen. It is believed to be Fred, Donny, and Fred, Eriksen, and Bruno, I believe, or Fred, Donny, and Bruno. I will have to double check that, but Luke Shaw is believed to play, which, But when Eriksen, what we might do is what we did in the second half, but I think it will be Fred instead of McTominay. I don't think we'll see McFred tomorrow. I'll be very shocked, considering what Ten Hag said about the midfield, considering how Ten Hag doesn't rate McFred, and Ten Hag's complained about the midfield privately, according to reports. I don't think we'll see McFred tomorrow. I think we could see something like this, but with Luke Shaw in at left back tomorrow. And look, I honestly, Donny 10, Eriksen mid. Personally think Malacia is defensively weak and Martinez will be targeted. I just think how bad we were versus Brighton, like you might as well change it up a bit. I really would like to see Ghana play. Can we push for 400 likes, as Gaz says? That would be really appreciated. Bruno for Ghana. I'd really like to see Ghana play as well. I'd like to see Donny involved. I thought Donny and Eriksen linked up quite well versus right when Donny came on as well. And Rangnick would have constructed a good team, maybe gotten Cuckoo and Lema easily. United needs a madman like Elon Musk who demands success away. Like Elon Musk doesn't really follow football, but he's got the money that we need. Honestly, guys, if I had the money, I'd buy United and I would go all Saudi Arabia, Newcastle, and splash the fucking cash. But fortunately, I don't. Was it not Ollie telling this lot that they are good? And that was the problem. You can't be constantly bad and expect encouragement. Exactly. Ollie told all these players they were good and never gave them discipline, so they performed shit. And then Rangnick called the players shit because they were shit and they performed shit. United can't blame what people's comments from other people about their performances. It just makes no sense. It's embarrassing. Guys, keep smashing that like button and do subscribe down below if you're new. We have 2.5 weeks left of the transfer window and loads is going to happen. Okay, Man United are reportedly going to bring in 3 more players in the next 2 weeks and sell 3 more players. So in the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, there's going to be 6 deals reportedly. So that is basically a deal every 3 days in the next 2.5 weeks, a deal every 3 days. So do make sure you subscribe because I will be updating you on all the latest news and transfer news. If there's a breakthrough on a player to United or a breakthrough on United signing or selling a player, I'll be live to let you guys know. If we sign a player, I'll be live. If we sell a player, I'll be live to let you guys know. So do make sure you're subscribed if you're not already subscribed. But I want to get more into the Brentford game and the approach that we should take. But Maguire will start versus Brentford. It's not going to be Varane. Martinez and Maguire is the centre-back pairing that Ten Hag's going to build. If Maguire starts performing badly, Varane will go in there. If there's an injury, Varane will go in there. But because Maguire wasn't bad against Brentford, despite conceding 2 goals, it was all the midfield, Maguire will stay and start for United. And Martinez was our best player, and he was Ten Hag's £50 million centre-back. Martinez will play, okay? The players that are at risk of being dropped are McFred. Ten Hag doesn't rate McFred, we know that. Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders, we know that. McFred are the players at risk of being dropped, and so is Luke Shaw because we brought Malacia. Luke Shaw and McFred are those players involved versus Brighton that are at severe risk of getting dropped for the game. And I can tell you that now, that is a fact. I would be shocked if we saw Varane tomorrow. Fabrizio Romano has come out and said that Manchester United are waiting to understand how much GAKPO's final price tag will be before pursuing him. So United are in for Cody GAKPO, but they want to know the price tag as well. And that has come out from Fabrizio Romano as well. And obviously, Marcel van der Kraan says United will make another attempt to sign De Jong within the next 7 days and that United wouldn't make the move if De Jong isn't interested. Remember, no bid from Chelsea because they received so little encouragement from De Jong. I'm going to show you this tweet. Guys. Ooh, you get to see me in full screen. Hi. Let me show you this tweet. Let me get it up. Back to the De Jong situation and back to what I was talking about at the start of the video. Remember this. Marcel van der Kraan said that United are going to make another attempt to sign De Jong, and he's a very good journalist in the next 7 days, and that if De Jong wasn't interested, they wouldn't make this move. Remember, Chelsea were in for De Jong, but they never made a bid because they didn't receive any encouragement from De Jong that he'd want to come. We've made a bid for De Jong because maybe we're stupid, which is probably true. We are stupid. But we have encouragement from De Jong secretly behind the scenes that he wants to come. Chelsea want De Jong, but they never made a bid for De Jong because they didn't get any encouragement that he would come. So even though the reports suggest that De Jong would prefer Chelsea over United, using my logic and my delusion because I want De Jong to come to Manchester United, if I look at this, there's still hope. There's still a chance. Now I know in the next week, I think the saga will be done and dusted. They can't register Jules Koundé because De Jong stayed. So Jules Koundé can't play the first game of the season. Fuck Barcelona. But I think this is, a lot of people are going to be like, the De Jong's deal's off. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Look, I've gone from 90% to 50% on De Jong. I'm not going to lie. But I just don't want him to go to Chelsea. Stay at Barcelona. Fuck them over. Please do De Jong. But it has been said that Man United would want De Jong and Rabiot. Now, if we sign De Jong and sign Rabiot, I do not have an issue with us signing Rabiot. Do I want Rabiot? No. Do I think he's good enough? No. Do I want to deal with his off-the-field issues? No. But if we sign De Jong and we sign Rabiot, I'm not going to complain about signing Rabiot because I've said we need 2 midfielders at the start of the window. We need 2 midfielders because if De Jong's injured, we're fucked. And I do think if you sign De Jong and Rabiot, 2 midfielders, I don't think Rabiot is the defensive profile we need, but it will do. Because Rabiot was a good player at PSG. He was. There is a good player in there that maybe Ten Hag can unlock. But if we sign De Jong and Rabiot, I'm not annoyed about signing Rabiot. I'm only annoyed about signing Rabiot if we sign Rabiot as a De Jong alternative. And I will say that now, and I've been throwing it out there for a while as well. Please do subscribe, as Daniel says. How close are we to 44.1 subscribers? Guys, we are 13 subscribers away from 44.1k, so please do subscribe if you're new. Would love to hit 44.1k subscribers. Would be really appreciated. So do click that subscribe button if you're new. Of course, share the video. Of course, like the video. Actually, I want to do one more poll of you guys. Because we'll end the video in about 10 minutes. But I do want to do a cheeky poll of you guys. And 54%, let me in the first poll. 54% of you guys said that we were going to beat Brentford. Okay, so 54% thought we'd beat Brentford, 24% said we'd lose, and 22% said we'd draw. But I'm going to ask you what you do with Marcus Rashford. Okay, because obviously PSG are interested in Rashford. However, it has been reported that Rashford wants to stay at United and is using PSG's interests to get a new contract, which I think Rashford's just using the PSG situation to get a new contract at United because it's up in a year. But Rashford, I put a poll in the chat for you guys to answer. Would you keep or would you sell Marcus Rashford? I'm really intrigued to see what you guys put regarding what you do with Marcus Rashford, because reportedly we could get 60 million for him, but apparently it's his brother Dwayne and his agent trying to get him to get a new contract at United because his contract's up in a year. And that is why the whole Rashford to PSG links are out. I think PSG have always kind of had a thing for Rashford, always kind of liked Rashford, but I think it is probably Rashford's agents trying to get him a new contract. Rashford's PR, Rashford's agents, they know what they're doing. Now, I want to say this though. I do think Rashford is a little bit disrespected by our fan base. I don't think he's as bad as people like to make him out to be. Now, I think Rashford was as bad as people like to make him out to be last season. I think last season, I can't actually talk about how bad Rashford was last season because I think he was our worst player. I think he was awful last season. I thought he was worse than Maguire. But I think people like the other seasons, those two seasons under Rolly where we got top 4, he was pretty good. The last few months of that period, he was poor. He dropped off, obviously, Europa League final. But I think people think that Rashford is this awful, useless player. And you know what? He was a good player for us once upon a time. He was. And there is a good player in there, and there is a good player in Rashford. I will get stick for saying that. But what I am saying is that, you know, he's not as bad as people make out, but he was awful last season. I think if there is a manager to get Rashford back to his best, it's Ten Hag. Because Ten Hag sees Rashford as a left winger, which is his best position. Ten Hag is known for developing youth. And I think if you improve that midfield so they pass the ball to the attackers and we get more on the ball, you see an improvement in Rashford. Now, I think what Rashford needs to do to improve is decision-making. I think Rashford's decision-making is where he lacks. I think Rashford, he's very predictable. If Ten Hag can work on Rashford's intellectual game, I think he can unlock Rashford. I think Rashford's got the ability, but not the IQ, not the intellectual game. And I think that is what, you know, we need Ten Hag to sort of work on with Marcus Rashford, if I'm being honest with you. But I still think there's a player in Marcus Rashford. I think Ten Hag could unlock it, and I don't think he's got awful. But yeah. Cuddler's Life, thank you very much for the super chat. Rabiot is a foolish signing for any club trying to challenge for Europe in the Premier League or any other league for that matter. It is just, he's an improvement on McTominay and Fred, but he's not what we need. And I think we're at a position where we'd almost take anything over McFred, but just because they're better than McFred doesn't mean they're good enough for Man United, and it is worrying as well. One player can make a team, or at least make that difference. Without Van Dijk, Liverpool are worse. Exactly. I think, you know, if United's got a De Jong or a Declan Rice, I think it would make such a difference to that team. I think it really, really would. I think if United signed De Jong and Declan Rice, we'd be a completely different side. I generally believe this. If we signed De Jong and Declan Rice, we'd be a completely different side. I think our defence can do a job. I think our attack, it just lacks depth. And if we're lucky with injuries, the attack's not too bad. Because Liverpool, at the end of the day, won a league with Origi as the bench options. But I think it's the midfield that lets us down. And I generally believe that if United, we won't, but if we signed a good DM and Frankie de Jong, I think we get top 4. I don't think Frankie de Jong's enough to get us top 4, but I generally believed if we signed a good DM and Frankie de Jong and just got rid of McFred and completely revitalised that midfield and got lucky with injuries in attack, we could get top 4. But I don't think we will. I think if we get de Jong, we can maybe get 5th. But I did predict us for 6th or 7th, if I'm being honest as well. Rabiot's still not United despite Murtough going to Turin, but I think it's expected to be a done deal. People did speak about Lisandro Martinez playing DM for Manchester United. Ten Hag's brought to be a left-sided centre-back. He was very good in his first game, but he's one of those players that I think if worse came to worse with injuries, if just McFred became unbearably bad, which they already are, maybe we'd see Martinez at DM. I wouldn't mind seeing Martinez at DM, but he was so sick at centre-back versus Brighton, breaking the lines and stuff. I just think he's he's wasted at DM. But I think with the position, with the state of our midfield, maybe it's something Ten Hag would try in the Europa League to maybe fix it up, especially if he wants to give some Varane some more game time as well. I will say, guys, I'm actually really, really frustrated about something though. McTominay and Fred were not nominated for the Ballon d'Or. People complaining that Messi wasn't nominated for the Ballon d'Or, but McTominay and Fred, who are miles better than Messi, were not nominated for the Ballon d'Or. I do think that's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I'm winding you up. Obviously, I'm winding you up. But look, guys, I am going to end the live stream here. I'm just going to get through a few chats. Rashford, in my opinion, has reached his ceiling for his own career and personal pride. I think he should move on. Just get a few chats in before I end the live stream. Ronaldo said stay at United, De Jong to Chelsea. Hopefully not. I just want to get through a few live chats and I'll probably end the stream. Sell Rashford, just another Lingard. Get a proven pedigree player. Sell Shaw, Maguire, McFred. I'd play Garnacho. I'd like to see Garnacho get a few more minutes off the bench as well. I think Rashford's a great talent, but if you can sell him for a decent amount, sell him. I mean, if we can get 60 million for him, I think it'd be hard to turn down. Frankie's coming. There's no way he's staying at Barca. If they don't fold in the next 24 hours, he'll be there soon after the 31st as Mark. Look, Frankie de Jong's even refusing to negotiate with Barcelona now. He's fuming with them as well. Absolutely fuming. If we can strengthen midfield, it would stabilise our defence as well. But guys, I am going to wrap up the live stream here. Big up everybody who tuned into today's live stream. Make sure you smash that like button and, of course, subscribe on the way out. On the road to 50,000 subscribers. So please do drop that subscribe button. I will be live at 4:30 tomorrow night. Sorry, it's not 4:30. Sorry. I will be live at 5 o'clock tomorrow night for the Manchester United versus Brentford watch along, followed by match reaction. So do stay subscribed and tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.